fans, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oscar Delahoya, Tyson Fury, and Oleksandr Usyk. Get this. Oscar Delahoya names the one fight he needs to see, and he says, don't be greedy. Right? Delahoya said, boxing right now is on the verge of breaking through hard, and I am talking about the days of the four horsemen, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Thomas Hearns, because fighters are really fighting each other. The one fight that I would love to see, if it can happen, is Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk. Come on, guys. There is enough money in the pot. Don't be greedy. There's the bottom line. Do not be greedy, because these fights are going to pass you up. And those are the words of Oscar Delahoya, and let me counterpunch. I agree with Oscar Delahoya. I think these fights should happen before they get too old. We've seen Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. What a waste. Because really, what did Keith Thurman really do? Keith Thurman got married, he got injury repairs, and he did nothing else. He fought Pacquiao and lost to Pacquiao 4 years ago and counting. Okay, so you're looking at these times of, these guys fighting, and, like, even 19 was too far for that fight. Because by the time 19 came around, Terrence Crawford was being mentioned along with Errol Spence. So Terrence Crawford introduced himself at that particular year, calling out Errol Spence. Even though there's been talks about Terrence Crawford and versus Errol Spence before that time even came. But that fight basically outdated the fight that we wanted to see. We wanted to see Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. And then Errol Spence was chasing him for the longest. But Errol Spence was gaining momentum simply because Keith Thurman didn't want to fight him. And it was ironic because Keith Thurman himself was a guy that had a notorious reputation for calling out people when he very first started. Floyd ducked him. Now, why not fight me, Floyd? Why not fight me, Floyd? Right? And, Floyd ducked him. And he called out Amir Khan, Paolo Malignaggi. He called out a lot of those guys that he wanted in the ring. And he was a menace in there. You know what I mean? I guess until people found out, his Achilles heel. And his Achilles heel was, the body. He had a glass body. Right? So I think, if anything, Keith Thurman revealed himself, but nonetheless, that fight should have happened between him and Errol Spence, but it didn't. The classic Riddick Bowe versus Lennox Lewis, that didn't happen. I always wanted to see Mike Tyson versus David Tua. That didn't happen. Ike Barabucci, wow, what a waste. You know what I mean? Like, that's, you can't really do too much about that because that, that had criminal elements behind it. But other than that, though, you have two undefeated fighters that are both champions in the same weight class that fighting at the same time. And all we really get is excuses. Now John Fury doesn't even want to talk about Oleksandr Usyk at all. He's trying to promote the Ngannou Fury fight. And, and it's crazy when you shut up a guy that has the biggest mouth of all Manchester. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a good sign, but it is what it is. But don't be greedy from Oscar De La Hoya. He's saying, hey, let's share the money so we can all eat. Wrong. That's not going to work. Because Tyson Fury is going to want the lion's share of the money because he thinks his shit doesn't stink based on him beating Wilder, a one-trick pony, a guy only he beat. But he's the only guy that only beat one older guy that he didn't beat anyone. So we're looking really at a guy that thinks too much of himself, so he's going to be greedy. So he's saying, come on, guys, don't be greedy. What he should be saying is, well, listen, Tyson Fury can't be greedy and give the fans what they want to see. But like Malik Scott said earlier, it's not about that. It's not about what, the fans want. It's not. We are the fans. Other fighters are also fans. It doesn't matter. It just matters on what type of money and paycheck that those guys are bringing to the table. Okay, that's that. And I feel that if anything at all, That fight, if it doesn't get made, it'll be sad, because then we'll probably more than likely see two other fighters less talented fight for the undisputed crown, and they will be undisputed by default of two other fighters that should have fought. So, but I do agree, you can't be greedy, but I think that only applies to Tyson Fury. You can't be greedy about that, or proud. That shit is not going to help anything or any fights get made. But if Tyson Fury is making a killing off fighting Francis Ngannou, a guy that never stepped into the boxing ring, we'll never see that shit anyway. So I'm all for Team Francis, because Team Francis is the guy, if he wins, he will get total accolades and total appreciation and total juice and recognition for beating Tyson Fury. Whereas Tyson Fury, he's just stalling up the heavyweight division because he's not defending his title. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. So I do agree with Oscar De La Hoya. You guys tell me what you think about Oscar De La Hoya stating that he would love to see the two undefeated heavyweight champions get in the ring together, and don't be greedy. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!